Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How you
Good.
doing?
I'm good. Just
Good.
getting into more of this material. I'm telling everybody before you showed up, like, I'm like 2 weeks behind still. I got so much to catch up on. It's crazy.
I know. I know. I'm about to start from week 1 and work my way back up to where we are.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Why not?
Yeah, just
Yeah, why not?
you got all. Yeah, it's on your own time schedule. We just got to get these all up for the sake of putting them all up, and then everybody can just do it on their own.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm about to do that. But I like to come in and listen and, get a gist for where everybody's at and how everybody's feeling about it and then I'll go back on one and zoom out.
Yep. Yeah, that's good.
See?
So, what's new with you? You've been active in the live streams. Has anything been evolving in your progress since the workshop?
You know, uh, yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like I have an opportunity to buy the spa that I'm working at, but I listened, I was telling you I like your stories, right? Because it really helps me in my own life to kind of like tune in and check in and see where I'm at. It's like all along my goal was to, really have my own and do my thing like that. And it's like the opportunity has presented itself to me. The guy that I'm working for, he wants to retire. And I have my own spot too, right? But I work there. Like I'm a independent contractor. So I have two places I bounce back and forth between. And he wants to sell it. But it's like, honestly, when I think about it, it's like as much as I wanted this established business and all that, this guy was putting in like 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm like, that doesn't give me, that's not the fastest path to my joy.
Yeah, and that's a
That
reality.
doesn't feel like joy to me. Huh?
That is a reality too when you have a small independent business.
Dang. I'm like, I'm a single mom, two kids, no family out here. Like, I don't think that's going to work out for me. So that's just not it.
Yeah.
That's just not it.
Well, there you
And
go.
it's okay.
It is okay.
Mhm.
They call that the
Yeah.
one of my old mentors calls it the yellow bus. She says when you're making a manifestation, you say I want the red Ferrari, and then she says the universe
Yeah.
sends you the yellow bus first to see if you'll accept it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not quite dialed
Yeah.
in for you.
Exactly, and this is something that I've manifested, like, years ago, and it's finally here, and I don't want it.
Yeah, well, the reality kicked
That's
in.
what's fun.
Yeah,
It's like, I don't want that. I don't wanna work 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, and just don't have a life outside of that. I'll be a slave to my company.
yep. I just had a consultation with a friend of mine who owns a franchise, and
Mhm.
he's 2 years into it, and he's trying to break even still, and he's working around the clock. And I'm thinking, well, um,
Yeah.
if you're 2 years into it and you're still trying to break even, and you're working around the clock, I can see why you're getting frustrated.
Yeah, and then in frustration, we're not in our joy, and that's not where abundance is, and that's not where the answers are.
Yep, that's right. That is correct.
So it's like you feel into it and it's like, this isn't it.
Yeah, and I
Because
just
when you feel into
oh,
something, it should feel exciting and yes, this is what I want. Like my spirit should be jumping. And my
yes,
spirit's like, heck no.
right,
Heck no,
yeah.
Nicole, don't do that.
Well, there you go. I mean, you're dialed in. So your spirit says, hold on, before you jump into this, just realize that you're about to get in deep. Like it's going to be all the
Deep.
expenses are now yours. Every problem is now
Yes.
yours.
Yeah. And the guy hasn't been honest with me. He hasn't been transparent with me about like simple things. For example, like he'll tell me, oh, I only have an hour's work for you today because there's a bunch of requests. There's only 3 rooms. And that's a lie. So why would I want to buy a business from a guy who can't even be honest with me on the simple things?
Well, I think that's your answer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the sad part about it, because it is a successful place, and it is. I've been there for going on 5 years, and I have liked it to some degree. I like what I do. I don't necessarily like working for him all the time, just because of that type of stuff. When
Yeah.
that stuff happens, I'm just like,
Yeah.
eh.
And there's a lot of factors going on too in the world and the culture, etc. I mean, America's turning socialism. I mean, America's going socialist, and you're talking about taking
Yeah,
a capitalist enterprise, which may or may not be the best idea going forward, depending on the political culture that's coming. You know,
right.
so those things do play a factor.
Exactly.
But
They really do.
I'm gonna do a little drop of what's coming tomorrow night. I'm gonna talk about the parable of the lost son. You know that story, right, with the prodigal son.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, the revelation I
I like
got
that.
reading that is that, like what you're saying, see, the hard work is a way to do things, but
Yes.
coming into allowing is the way to do things.
Absolutely.
So you can just surrender all of that hard work consciousness that he's trying to, basically drop into your lap. And
Yeah.
and one thing you can do too is you starve people out with patience. Patience is the weapon that forces deception to reveal itself. So you starve them out and you make them wait and wait and wait. And before you know it, the truth will come out and you'll find out that, all the problems that are there and everything will just be so obvious.
Right. One of my clients at my own personal spot told me that I could, have in the contract that I pay back, make payments on the business according to the actual gross that is, not the reported gross that he's done. Because I know he's like amped things up, having 15-hour days, 7 days a week, just so that, let's say, for example, that the gross income of the spa would be like 40,000 a month, right? And so he's got this business that's worth this much money based on that. But in the reality, not too many people can sit and work in a place for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know what I mean? So he was like, well, if you did this contract based on I can't remember what he called it, but it's based on what the actual gross is, not what he's projected or what it has been in the past. It's what it is from month to month, so that you don't ever get like choked in over your head on trying to, make a $10,000 payment and you only brought in,
Yeah.
15,000, because that would be choking once you pay your overhead.
Well, in my mind, if you're working 15 hours a day, you should be netting 40,000 a month at least. So,
Exactly. Well, that's what he was doing. He was netting 40,000 a month, but that was 15-hour days,
yeah,
7 days a week.
that's a lot.
That's a
Well,
lot.
any business can be turned around, but it has to be your passionate excitement. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
I gotta be real excited to sit there for 15 hours a day.
You know what I mean? It's a lot. Like
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Like
it's a
right
lot.
now, this whole blog site thing is not my joy. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm thinking about hiring somebody else to do the whole thing for me and just not even touching it because it's just the way it is.
yeah.
It's not exciting to me. And if it's not exciting, I don't
Uh-uh.
care how good people say it is because it just doesn't excite me.
I'm feeling that on the blog too, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, I don't feel any inspiration or motivation towards it. I like it, but I don't like it for me.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I'm going to go through the trainings just because somebody's going to find it exciting. I'm sure somebody will. But
Absolutely.
for me, I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to manage a team right now and do all this and that, and plus the 3 kids and all the other stuff we have going.
Yeah.
My goodness, we are busy already.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You guys are super busy.
Yeah.
And with other things that are exciting, like stuff
Yeah.
that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I like to do the exciting stuff, the things that kind of make me, if I'm starting to feel groggy, but I think about it and I just wake up and I have all this burst of energy, that's where I need to be.
Exactly. Moment by moment, follow that excitement.
Yeah. Yeah. Not in a place that I'm about to like zone out and fall asleep.
Yeah, For your 40-hour work days, that sounds
Right.
like a sentence to me.
You're right. It sounds like a prison sentence. Like, oh
Yeah,
no, I don't want to do
yeah.
that. Where's the
Trust me.
joy in that? There's no
Well,
joy sitting in that all day long.
the only time you're going to enjoy that is when you sell it, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It reminds me of like, oh, the whole like the lie that, we have to be good boys and girls so we can get to heaven. You
Right?
buy this company so you can work your butt off for these years, and then when you sell it, you'll finally be happy.
You're like, I'm already on the afterthought of what you're trying to get to. I'm already there. Uh,
Exactly. I'm like, can I sell it yet? I haven't even bought it.
yeah, he's like, just imagine how great it could be. You'll work 15-hour days, busting your butt, making nothing until you reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. And one day you'll get to sell it and be
Yeah.
exactly where you are right now.
Yeah. Well, he said I'll be making money, and I'm thinking, but I won't have any time to spend it.
Well, you'll be spending it on your health when you break down and you're like can't work anymore. You know what I mean?
True. Like that's what's happening to him. He's falling apart right now.
I know. I've seen it so many times. I have clients like I said all over the world. I talk to people that go through the same thing. And see, money is great, and I love prosperity, but it's all about the
Yeah.
flow of enjoyment. And you can be
Yes.
very wealthy, but that's like not healthy. It's not healthy situation whatsoever.
No, it's really not. Like his back is going out. He's got to get cortisol shots. I mean, he doesn't have to, but that's his choice. He chooses that route.
Yep.
He's had skin cancer, had his thumb cut off. Like there's just like no. I don't I choose a different path. I'm not choosing that
Are you
way.
sure? Are you
Yeah,
positive?
I'm pretty darn sure that I'm
It
gonna choose
sounds like
another way.
sounds like a pretty hot deal. I don't know if you should turn it down.
I know, right? And that's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, this dude is trying to sell a business, and this is what he's putting out there. Come, buy my business. Work yourself to the bone to die. Hopefully, when you retire, you'll be in good enough health to enjoy it. What do you think? I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think so.
No, I've
I
seen
don't
it
think I want to
happen.
do that.
I mean, just yesterday, talking to my friend that owns a franchise, his wife is like sick, really sick, because she's trying to keep it going with him, and she's not well, and
Mm,
he gained a ton of weight, and it's like, you know what? Like you got into some
yeah.
deal because somebody sold you this sales pitch, but first of all, I mean, I don't know, like patience. Always use patience and make like okay, like Tika Tiwari says, let the game come to you. Just let the game come to you. You know,
Hmm.
he might just hand it over to you and be like, listen, you don't owe me anything. Just take the papers.
just take it. Would you just take it so I can get the heck out of here and retire and enjoy myself,
And
whatever
then you can,
little bit I have left?
yeah, then you can flip it and make some money flipping it. You know,
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
staff some new people, do an extra build out on there, put like 20 into it, and then sell it for an extra 100 and walk away. You know,
Right. And be like, well, that was a good move. That was easy.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's good chatting
So,
with you. I don't think anybody else is showing up tonight. So
are you serious? Oh my gosh.
I don't think they're
Oh,
as
so
excited about this.
I want to tell you a story,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, go ahead.
Before we get started.
Yep,
Okay, so I do like mentoring like what you do.
yep.
And in a similar thing, I was talking to Sabrina, and she goes, Matthew's tried everything with me. He knows every healing modality under the sun, and blah blah. He's done this, that, the third, and then the next thing. I was like, because she was talking about her migraine, right? And I was like, okay. I said, well, Sabrina, it sounds to me like, that that your body's saying, hey, take some time out for me, stop pouring into everything else, pour a little into yourself. And if you don't listen, it's going to put you on your butt. So you have to listen. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's emotionally, that's what happens. And it manifests physically, just so if we don't pay attention or we don't give it attention. And so anyway, and she's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. She goes, I agree. I agree. Well, okay. So I was talking to this kid, because it's March Madness basketball. I'm a big basketball fan. And one of this kid that goes to one of the colleges, it's like an hour away from my house. He used to live with me when he was like in high school. He used to live with us, our family, for like 3 years. We kind of took him in and took care of him. And so now he got since then he got a scholarship, free ride, play basketball, Division 1, and they just won the first time in 11 years. They're going to the NCAA.
Cool.
So they just left today for that. But the night that he got down to Frisco, Texas to play in their conference for their conference tournament, the night they did that before the game, I was like, let's do some work. He's like, okay, because I've, talked to him, work with him. And I said, let's do some work before this tournament so that you can, that you can come out on top with this tournament. And he's like, okay, well, he was on the all defensive team, but he's a sophomore, and all the two seniors on the team were getting all the offensive accolades. You know how that goes. With the offense is what people pay attention to. And so he wasn't like on that radar. Do you know this kid came back and he won the MVP of the tournament? He was the MVP of the tournament.
Wow.
And he said, everything you said for me to do, he goes, I did it. And I'm telling you, he was on fire at that tournament. And
what'd you tell him
I
to
was
do?
like, well, I went through my little thing, and what we worked on was pituitary, so like intuition, and there was a few other things, like stuff that didn't make sense to me, but I just went with it. And then I started asking him, and what it came out is that that negative self-talk is, I said, you gotta, every single time that negative self-talk comes up, I want you to just say, I'm always in the right place at the right time. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm a walking bucket. Like, there was certain things I was having him say and do, like every time something negative kind of like crept in. He said he did it the whole time. He came out with MVP of the tournament, and he's never had that in his whole career in college.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
He called me after the tournament was over, like the third night. It was 3 nights of the tournament, and they won every game. He was the top scorer on his team every night, and that's never happened.
Wow.
That's never happened, because he's a defensive guy, but he was a defense and an offense and every playmaker type of guy you could imagine. He really was in the right place at the right time, almost at all times.
So you did you got him to auto suggest himself.
Program.
He did it.
Yes. Yes, he did it. And the last game, it was so interesting because he was struggling. Like, he had 2 points in the first half, and he was 3 fouls. That's a rough half.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a rough half. And he was sitting on the bench, and I told him, like, if there's ever a time that you start to doubt yourself, I want you to dig in deeper, and don't take no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? And he said he did that when he was on the bench. He came out in the second half. He was the top scorer on the team, and he got the basket. He got the game-winning shot with 3 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
And he was fouled by 2 guys in the paint, and he got his and one shot.
What? How much time did you get a hold of him before he went into the tournament? Like, how much?
Okay, so let's say the night they got there, like say they get here tonight, they have a rest day tomorrow where they do a shoot around and stuff. They play the next day, 2 days before his first game.
Oh, nice. So that shows you the speed that you can make that shift.
It was so fast. It was like literally under 36 hours.
That's really good. It's so cool that you said that, because that's really a powerful. When I was 8 years old, I was still wetting the bed, and my dad, one of the rare times when he actually talked to me in my life, he called me on the phone, and he told me to stop the same thing you did. He told me to stop my train of thought at bedtime and say I wake up dry every day, and he did it with me 25 times. He had me do it, and I did it with him, and I woke up dry the next day, and I was dry ever since. So
wow,
it really
that's
does.
awesome.
It just, I'm wondering.
It's so powerful.
That was so quick, though, because both experiences with mine and yours, like, that was quick. Huh. I have to look more into that, because you overlaid a new, like some new software, like, instantly.
Yep. Instantly. It was an instant upgrade.
That's really sweet. I like that.
Yeah, I loved it. It was an instant upgrade. He called me after the game, the third night, he called me after the game. He FaceTimed me, like, after the cameras went away, after everybody's in his face. They won the dang tournament, like champions. They haven't been champions in 11 years.
Wow.
And they're going to the NCAA, and, like, it was a huge thing. Huge. And he called me after the game. He was almost crying. He's like, Nicole, I would have never been able to do this without you. He goes, I kept hearing everything you said. I did everything you said.
That's so cool. And that was
It was awesome.
yeah,
Huh?
you did the thing that I've been studying this week, where every problem has a doorway of truth out of it. And what you did is you gave him the doorway of truth, and he took it.
Yes, and he took it.
He
And
did.
he took it.
Yes.
Yes. I
So
told him, I said, all I did was show you the path. You're
yeah,
the one that jumped on it and rode it. Like, all
yeah,
I did was show you the way, and you took that way.
that's so cool. Because if you
It
get
was
that
so
combination, it's
cool.
amazing. Like you and him together,
Yes.
like the willing participant and you and the mentor
Yes.
that knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. And then the other thing that the other added piece is, when I was talking to him, because when I did the energy session first, like I do this little map, and a little story kind of starts to make itself, kind of just pour into this story that it just makes a story. And I was doing it without him. I just did it before I called him on the phone. I did this over the phone, by the way. It was remote, obviously. And so it was like, as I was doing it, I was like, wait, is this for him? Like, doesn't even make any sense. Is this for Xavier? Like, I know him. Are you sure this is for him? So when I called him on the phone, I was like, okay, so let's talk about what came out, and then, we'll kind of go from there. He's like, okay. And I said, have you been kind of like, like self-doubting yourself? Have you been hearing like a lot of like negative talk in your head? Like, you can't do this, or da 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 da. And if he was in a place like ego and wasn't, being honest with me, he could have said, no, I'm good. Like, everything is good. He said, yes. How do you know? And I said, it came out. He goes, whoa. And then I said, okay, this is what I want you to do. So that's just how it unfolded. It was so freaking awesome.
That's really good. So that excited you, did it not?
You know what, Matthew? I'm still excited about it. And I said, you know what? I would, if I had all the money in the world, I would do this for nothing, because that's how much fun it is.
Well, that right there is a clue.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Because
it is.
you see what I'm saying? Like you just basically answered your own question about where you
I
should
did.
focus your time and energy. Because the reality is with everything you've learned so far on how to build your own YouTube channel and how to do all this stuff, you could be doing
Yeah.
that on a big scale and receiving clients all over the world and helping them make breakthroughs.
Yes. And it is so much fun. I love it. I had another client. Have you ever heard of oh my gosh, what is it? Trigeminal neuralgia?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she had trigeminal neuralgia. She got to a point where she couldn't even take a shower or eat, because every time the water hit her face,
Oh,
she felt electrocuted. And I mean, she couldn't eat because anytime she put something in her mouth, she'd feel electric shocks. And, I was working with her, and I was hard on her. Like, I was hard on her. Like, because she's one of my clients, and I was just tough with her, and, wouldn't let her take the victim road, and wouldn't let her take the, oh, I pity you road, and none of that. Do you know, she broke through that, and she called me so happy, elated, and crying. She's like, Nicole, I doubted you. I said, I know you did, because I was on her. I said, you don't believe me right now. I said, why are you going to, I was tough. And she's like, Nicole, oh my gosh. She goes, I could have never done this without you. She goes, you just were so persistent. You wouldn't let me give up. You wouldn't let me do this. You wouldn't let me do that. She goes, I am so grateful.
that's awesome. You can tell it. You
It
can tell
is.
you love doing this. Like you can just
I
hear.
do.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, it is the best. Like, it is so, I mean, you kind of have to get in people's heads a lot, and you have to be kind of tough sometimes, but
Yep.
it's so worth it.
And
It's so worth it, because
it's the highest work you can do because you're helping solve real problems for people. That's all you would be doing if you owned this business, is solving a problem. Um,
yeah.
so everywhere you go, you're just solving problems. So you could just solve problems doing exactly what you're doing right now, and just scale yourself a business, and you can make 40 grand a month without working more than 10 hours a week.
You're right. I don't have to bust, and I know that. And I know that.
Yep.
It's like, so I just need to, so that's what I need to do, is I just need to just like hone into that, hold that, and just do my own, like take my own advice. Just like get rid of the negative self-talk, get rid of the stuff that says I got to do somebody else's stuff. I just need to, that's what I need to do. And that's where my joy is. Like it is so rewarding and so fun.
Yeah, it's really, see, it's not your intellect that's doing it. So leave your intellectual argument off the table, okay?
You're so right. Because when you said the other day, when you said God favors people who don't really know what they're doing, I was like, people say, well, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I just get the piece of paper and go from there. And even when I'm doing it, I'm saying, what is this?
Yep.
And then it just all kind of, I'm like, what the heck just happened?
That's right. See? Okay, so now this is where
I was busting out laughing, because I was like, this is what I do. I don't know what I'm doing.
And you are so on par for what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night. Like, this is the story of the prodigal son, the lost son. Think about it. You went off into this foreign country and became a citizen, etc., like the lost son, and like you're on the division symbol. You're under the division symbol with the hard work mentality around you, and it's like, well, all you have to do is come repent back to the Father. Like, basically, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm back home. Like, put my robe on. I want my slippers. I'm ready for my ring.
I just want to graze in the garden.
Well, you can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't have to be like this heroic. See, this heroic journey is part of the culture code in America, because everybody wants to know rags to riches. They all want to know that you came from nothing, because it's full of immigrants. The whole country's full of immigrants that came from nothing. So it's part of the culture. Well, okay, so what? You came from nothing. Now you're past that. Now just get into the receiving mode and be present with God and praise the blessing that's already here, and trust the excitement, because that's the compass, and you know where the excitement is. Don't doubt it for 1 minute. That's your excitement.
Yes.
You don't have to see how it's going to happen, because it's not your job to see how it's going to happen.
And it's so great to just be like, just sitting in the space of peace and excitement, and not even having a reason why. It's like, I don't know why I feel good right now. I feel good. I feel really excited, and I don't know why.
Yeah, and trust the excitement over the plan.
Yeah.
The excitement is the plan, period, moment by moment.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the story I told you about, like, when I started this in network marketing back in 2017, and I was like excited about it. And and then what happened was I realized that I didn't like it at all after like 2 months. And then what happened was it led me to my friend who got me involved in Bitcoin in the early stage. No, 2016, I think was, or whatever. 2017. Yes. 2017. So anyway, it led me to the next excitement. And see, what I did right was I jumped on the excitement and ditched what wasn't exciting in the moment. I ditched it because I knew that the excitement had left the building. So that means I need to.
It's so funny, because it's like, I get it. Like, I so get it. And that's what I love, like, listening to some of your stories. You're like, oh yeah, this was my lifelong dream, and I just ditched it. It was done. It was no more dream anymore. The dream turned to a nightmare, and I just walked away.
Well, see, human reasoning thinks that you have to have this linear path from point A to point B, right? Like, human reasoning is ridiculous. That's the point. It's complete nonsense. You follow the excitement, and if the excitement leaves the building, then you should follow. You should be like, I'm out. Peace.
Yes, it's so true. It is so true. Oh my gosh.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I did it with so many things. You know, my first occupation was I was gonna be
Uh-huh.
an electrician. I was telling everybody I'm gonna do this. It's so exciting, and you know, I did it for 2.5 years of the apprenticeship, and you know, literally, I just left one day and just never went back. I just I'm done. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna be a loser. You just threw away your whole future." You see, human people, that's what they think. They think that they know everything, but they know nothing. That's the point.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I went
I
to
did that too when
yeah.
I did that too. I had this job. I was making so much money and they promised me, "Oh, you can just like relax and you just have to be here when your people are here and when they're not here, you can go home and relax," because I lived like a minute away. And
Yep.
then they took that away and it wasn't fun anymore. And I was like, "Well, shoot. In 4 months I just made $90,000, but I was like, "Well, you took away the whole reason why I'm here, so I'm leaving." And they were like, "What?" I
Yep.
said, "I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore." And I just want to quit.
Yes. See, the movie to watch is Office Space when he quits the job and then they give him a promotion. See what I mean? I literally did that. I used to be the night manager of a health club, and I did the same thing. It was like one morning I decided that job was terrible. I wanted to sleep, so I called the manager that day. I said, "I'm not coming in tonight. I quit." And I was well. 3 months later, you know what they did? They gave me a promotion and gave me a better job. Okay.
Right.
You see, it doesn't make any
Yes.
sense, but you got to stop trying to make sense of it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It was funny. I went to my daughter's school tonight. And it's like you just see the world of corruption and you see the world of egos and you walk around and you see this stuff, right? And then you feel the energy of it too. And it's like, I'm just kind of sitting there like, this is okay, but I don't really want to mingle. I'm trying to just stay to my own space.
Yeah.
And then somebody started making paper airplanes and I was up on the second floor. This is in the school. And they were down on the first and they threw the airplane. I was like, now this is fun. I was like throwing airplanes. They're laughing like I'm acting like a darn kid out here, and now I'm having fun. I
There
wasn't
you
having
go.
fun before, but now this is fun.
Yeah. See, and you can okay, the highest form of faith is trust, right? So if
Right?
you're demonstrating the willingness to stay in that type of fun moment by moment, well, you must have faith cojones the size of like you know what, because you are trusting big time that something is taking
Yes.
care of you because you're not leaning on your own understanding at that point any longer.
No. And you know what? I don't really care what anybody thinks because I mean, my joy is my joy. I don't really care what they think because if I'm having fun and I'm in joy, their opinion of what I'm doing is irrelevant.
Yeah, you should bamboozle them every time. Just follow your joy, and they'll tell you that you're crazy, and you'll always end up on
Yes,
top. You always end up on top.
always.
Yep.
It is so funny. And then to me, it makes me laugh,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
It
It just does. It makes me laugh.
yeah, this is gonna be see, this is my joy is this with you. This is gonna be our trading for tonight. I'm not even gonna do this Instagram thing tonight. I'll just
This is
I'll log
good.
it up.
This is good.
When I get some time, when I go through it, I'll actually go through it myself and I'll post it up later. But my joy
Yeah,
just talk about this right now because when you told me the story, I was like, "Oh, this is good. Like, let's talk about that. Like, that's exciting, you know?"
it is. It
Yeah.
is. Do you know I had a person on the table today and she was like, I don't know what she does, but she does yoga and stuff like that or whatever. And she's just like, I've been really working on, she goes, I don't know why, but I just feel like I need to really work on forgiveness. And she said something about Mary Baker Eddy. I was like, I said, you've studied Mary Baker Eddy? She goes, yeah. She goes, I just like really loved her story. And, she was just such a powerful woman for the time that she was in and all these really cool things and so I was teaching her like the Ho'oponopono. Like I'm doing a facial on her, but where I was teaching her how to do Ho'oponopono forgiveness, and she was just like, whoa. and I personally like the Ho'oponopono the way that Ma Bell Katz kind of talks about it, and not as much not as much Wayne Dyer, because Wayne Dyer's way of doing it just didn't really feel right to me. And I said, just because it doesn't feel right to me doesn't mean it's not the right way for you. It's just for me, the whole Ho'oponopono is I'm not going to someone outside of me
Yeah.
saying, please forgive me. I'm going straight to God and myself. I need
Yeah.
to forgive myself. And I'm asking God to forgive, me, but really I'm asking for my own forgiveness because God's already done that. I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to get where God's at.
Yeah, exactly. And if you just step into the radical courage that it takes to follow your excitement in every moment, uh,
Yes.
man, I'll tell you what, like y- we are commanded to live from faith to faith. That's faith. That's like
Yes.
you've got faith to do stuff like that. You have to have faith.
You really do.
You
I
know.
I just it's like right now the guy I was seeing, whatever, it's like the other day he broke up with me, right? And so I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm asking for a relationship transformation, God. And he tells me, this
He
guy
gave
tells
you
me
one.
he doesn't know if he wants to be with me. And I'm like, okay, God, I trust you. Like, whatever you're trying to show me, like, I'm rocking with it, and I'm just gonna trust you. And I'm just gonna focus on the things that I want, because that's not really what I want to hear, but there's something better. And it could be with him and it could not be with him. And regardless, it doesn't really matter, because what really matters is that something better. What really matters is what I want, not what this is. This is not what I want, so this is not it. So I'm just gonna think about, what's fun for me. I just want to have fun. I want to do fun things. I want to be in a joyful moment. I want to be creating. I want to experience fun creation. I want to deliberate create. I want to, you know what I mean? So like, I'm just gonna work on that.
Yep. And I like that.
And like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, God, this isn't exactly what I was thinking, but I trust you. So like, show me where this is going. Like a little kid, where do I go next?
Yeah. You got you're very wise about that, because see, relationships, you created that relationship. It's from within you. Like you can't lose
Yes,
anything of value. You can only just step into more of yourself. So
exactly.
there's nothing lost in creation,
Mm-mm.
you know?
No,
The only thing you could lose is something that was unhealthy, maybe codependency, which is no good anyway. So let it go.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, well, however that's gonna work out. And then I've been working a lot with with the green ladder, and
Yeah.
I like that green ladder.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
The archetypes, I
Yeah.
have a sheet. Okay, so I did this sheet where I used several of the archetypes. So I had a piece of paper and I put a big um like I used a colored pencil, put a big violet X on the paper. And then I started just writing all the things I wanted to magnify and enhance in my life: freedom, financial freedom, abundance, joy, happiness, love, um, you know, uh, business success, uh, uncommon success, dream life, just spiritual gifts, like all these things I want to magnify in my life. And then I put down different other symbols on it, like the green ladders on there, that green N for, just like all the healing, overall healing in all parts of your life. And then that one other little thing, I don't know what it is, this it looks like the green sun, with it looks like a compass kind of,
Mm-hmm.
with
Yep.
the okay. That one is all like overall healing, and every part of your life is, like at all times energies are all balanced and radiating out for healing. And then I did the relationship one with the two eyes with the little thing in the middle. Like I just put all these different little symbols on my page, and it was so fun. And like, this is just my daily, like I look at this every day, like your playbook,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I did it on a piece of paper with
Uh,
with the codes and the archetypes,
yeah, that's
because
good.
the symbols to me are so much fun. They're fun to play with. They're like cookies. I'm making cookies.
Yeah, they are. And they're programming you. You're funny.
I'm making cookies. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just making cookies with this stuff. That's what I think about. They're like cookie cutters.
Yep.
They take the vibration and they bring it into the physical. You know what I mean? They take that vibrational set point and bring it into the physical set point. Like it's perfect. We're baking cookies. I don't know how long we're baking them, but we're baking them.
Yep, that's right. They'll let you know when they're ready to come out. The oven will ding.
Exactly.
That's good. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up everything with the whole business and stuff. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I do know. I'll never say it again. I do know. Change my words.
Yeah, you do.
So what it is like if I go back and replicate everything I did in the beginning, it's just about bold and courageous following your excitement. Period.
And that's what you do. That like you do that. And you know, like I listen to some of your stories and they're just so like you have me laughing because it's just so funny. You do the funniest stuff, but you're not trying to be funny. You're just like, oh, okay, nope. The excitement left, I leave. Bye.
Exactly. That's how it plays out too. It
It is so funny.
yeah. I mean,
Oh
realistically,
gosh.
I've seen too many examples of sticking around long after the joy left the building, and there's nothing left. The party's over, the bar shuts down, like you're sitting there by yourself. You know what I mean?
Passed out and sitting in your own vomit.
Yes. Nothing good comes after bar time when the bar closes when you're still in the bar. Okay? Like you gotta leave.
Exactly. Gotta go.
In my world, if I'm not in bed by midnight, it was not a good night. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's so true.
Yep. My
Oh
joy
my
is going to
gosh.
take me to the to the point of living because I don't know, you're younger than me, Nicole. I'm sure. I'm 42 years old and I'm thinking, you know what?
I'm not younger than you, I'm older than you.
What? You look way
Yes,
younger than
I'm
me.
older than you.
Oh
Huh?
my goodness. You got like you remind me of like a 25-year-old. Well,
I
anyway.
have a very childlike spirit, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I
Well,
really do. I'm like a
well,
big kid.
well, that's great. See, that's your childlike innocence. Like you're walking the walk. And
Yes.
man, that right there, you could be imparting to others because that playful energy is prosperity.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you know what I tell people all the time? I'm like, I said, because, I do facials and stuff. I'm like, why is it that they have this whole anti-aging line? I'm like, why don't we just get a youthening line and call it a day? Like, I'm done playing with that anti-aging stuff.
Right? It's a
And then,
negative.
because I do this stuff. I said, I do this stuff on myself. I'm 46 years old and I
Oh
do
my
stuff on my
goodness.
skin and people don't believe that.
I don't believe it, but I guess I'll believe
Exactly.
it when you tell it to me. I mean, well, yeah,
Yes, I'm 40.
good story, Nicole. I'm 46. Look at
Yeah,
me. These products keep me young.
and they do. And too, like because I said to people, I said, well, they talk in the Bible, and whoever knows, like I know they talk in the Bible. I said, well, shoot, people are living till they're 800. I said, if we start to fall apart at 60, we're really gonna be looking terrible by the time we get to 800. We gotta slow down.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yeah. That would be that. Yeah. It. You definitely. Okay. So that right there. I'm kind of
Hmm.
conceptualizing all this. You're pulling off something extraordinary. Like you're living in a space, like in a state of being that really you could be teaching people how to do it because man, do you know how many miserable people are out there?
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
I know, and they're like
They are
20
everywhere.
year olds even like they have nothing to be unhappy about because their whole world's ahead of them, and they're like so unhappy. They hate themselves. Like it's like
They truly do. They do.
yeah,
And it's like we can see that. Like I can see that when people are just like in their misery or whatever. It's like I have this ability to just kind of look in and see what's up. but when I come to them and talk to them, especially like when they come in, I come in such a playful, joking manner that I have people dying laughing, but I'm being real and they know it.
That's
And
right.
they're laughing about it. And so it's fun, you know? It's
Well,
taking something very serious and now we're making a joke out
yes.
of it and finding how silly we've been so we
Yeah.
can change that.
When you're laughing, you're learning, you're doing it. You're actually, that's what you're doing. See that right there? See, that's your unique proposition. See, your difference in the marketplace is where your prosperity is. So your difference
Mm-hmm.
is that you're timelessly youthful and playful, and you have a lot of wisdom that just slips right in through the cracks. And that's your
Mm-hmm.
delivery. You know, that's your delivery. Like that's how you impart. And that's all you have to really play on, is that this is who I am, and it's different. This is, you know.
Yeah. Because I really do feel like I'm a kid in a playground. I feel like this is my playground and it's fun to play. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to do is play. I just
Then,
don't want to stop playing because it's fun.
yeah, then you just keep doing that. And like this, like all that YouTube stuff is simple. I mean, you made that one video and you're like, oh, I look so rough. And Sabrina and I were like, yeah,
I did.
we're like, you look like a
I
model. Like,
did. I was
it's like,
like,
you, you're gonna kill it. Like honestly, you go back and you watch those YouTube videos if it's your joy, when it's your joy, you know, and you just start just putting yourself out there and start, you know, like making an offer, like, you know, like here's what I got. This is the tips for today. Hey, here's the offer.
mm-hmm.
I do private consulting, and I'll show you how to step into your joy and how to live moment to moment excitement, and I'll show you how to walk in this path and create your dream life, you know?
Yeah.
Because
That's actually really good. I like that.
that alone is see, you don't have to be a master of everything. You can be a master of that, and nobody else owns that real estate, Nicole. And I think you could deliver it the best, because your playful energy delivers it in a way that, you see, when you're laughing, you're learning. You get people that can't do it because they're too serious, they're too stuck in their reasoning head. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And then along comes you, and you entrain those brain waves, and you start to get them onto your side of the fence, where that's what they want.
They do want that, but they're so stuck. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. There's this guy that he's a coach for one of the school. Like he's a college coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super serious. You know, these guys are so serious. They take everything so serious. And I'm like, oh, no wonder you're unhappy. You know, but I was telling him, I was like, man, I said, and he's bald too. I was like, I don't know, what's it gonna take, Lou? I said, because you know, to now get you, I'm talking to a guy who's super serious, and I'm clowning around, right? I am clowning around. I said, what? And he's bald. I said, what's it gonna take, Lou, for me to get you to put your hair, just let your hair down?
He's thinking, he's thinking, what did you just say?
Yes, he goes, you're a nut.
You are though, but this is what people want. You're like the edutainment, because you're entertaining, but you're educating. So you are the
yes, the educainment. Oh my god. And I'll have people laughing. I say the stupidest stuff, but it's real. Like, it's real. I just have a funny way of looking at things, you know?
All
And
right.
then people are like, oh my gosh.
Yes. So what you did with that basketball player, and how you got him to receive and to deploy, that there's a
Mm-hmm.
formula there. See, this is how I built my whole, you know, nutrition company the first time, that did, you know, hundreds of thousands every year with no effort. Like I didn't even advertise for money. I just put it up on YouTube, and it made all the money for me. Here's what I did is
Wow.
I noticed something that worked, and I scaled it. So same thing like you just did, like, hey, that worked. So what were the mechanics? What is the mechanical application of how that worked? Like how did, like you look at the whole process from start to finish, front to back.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
wha- how did we get involved in this? How did I find out about the problem? What did he say to me? How did I respond? What made him buy in? How did he take it seriously, etc.? And look at the result. And you just break that thing down to the formula, and then look at your YouTube, empire that you're building and say, I can mass scale this formula for all kinds of athletes, professionals, etc. I can show them how to, make a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
You think about it. That's
Yeah.
powerful. It's really powerful.
It is. It is. I'll give you another example. That one person who had the trigeminal neuralgia,
Yeah.
she's like a passion, she's passionate about like helping the animals. She wants to have a sanctuary and all this type of stuff. And, she's been working on it for 10 years and, trying to get into congressmen and stuff and get on a
Oh,
lobbyist for animals and stuff like that.
reasoning
And she
hallway.
had gone to yeah. And she had gone to the library and she lost her, like, she called me crying because she lost her zip drive or whatever. And she said, I think it was stolen. She goes, Nicole, I've had the work that I've been doing for 10 years is on that zip drive. And
Good.
she's crying. And she goes, I almost got thrown in jail because I wouldn't leave until they wouldn't, and I said, okay, I said, let's think about this logically. I said, you've been working on this for 10 years. You've been submitting the same stuff for 10 years and you haven't done anything with it. Maybe it was time to lose it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Lose that stuff.
It's about time a miracle happened.
It's about time. Yeah, it's about time. I said, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to you. She goes, huh?
Well, think about
because it hasn't worked for 10 years, huh?
Yeah, think about where all that pain's coming from. It's resistance.
Exactly. And I said, and you are over there, beating down a barricaded, padlocked Fort Knox door and banging it down because you want it done your way. And right behind you, the door is wide open. And they're like, hey, Carol, the door is open over here. Yeah, just let me get it done over here. And I'm like, what are you doing? She started laughing, because she's trying to justify why she needs to do it her way. But I could clearly see her way was so much resistance and nothing was working out. And she almost got herself like arrested. I was like, something tells me this isn't the way to go. This is not the path of least resistance. I think the door is wide open behind you.
She took the path of most resistance, apparently.
Exactly. And then I had her laughing.
Yeah.
Looking at it from a place where I should change. You know what? That is kind of funny. What am I doing? Why am I doing that?
Yeah. Well, see?
But I was making all kinds of jokes about it to get her to, to buy in.
Nicole, that right there, your personality, your delivery, that's telling you that's your uniqueness, is that you have the wisdom. Okay. It's not like you're just fooling around with nothing to back it up. Like you know exactly what you're talking about. And your delivery is your unique selling position. That's the thing. And your appearance. I mean, you have this youthful, like playful, it just shows, like it comes out. Like that's you. And that's all you have to do is look at what you're accomplishing and say, okay, there's thousands and thousands of people, or that need what I got to offer. I'm going to start making it available. I'm going to start making them an offer.
You're right. And having fun while doing it, because so many people in this world are just not having fun.
Thank you. That's the point. Yes,
they're just not having fun.
Look what we did. I adapt real quick. I was like, oh, Nicole's here. She's fun. I'm like, we're ditching this whole training. We're just going to have fun.
Well, no, we're going to have fun and we're going to learn, right? We're going to have fun. Yeah, because I love to have fun. And that's really where joy is.
Yep. Well, this is a lesson right here in and of itself, is that I think your obvious elephant in the room is staring at you. I mean, when it comes to income, I mean, all it is that I'm going to solve problems for more people at a higher price.
Yes.
And I don't have to leave my house to do it. I can do it in my car when I'm on the way to the gym. I could do it in the gym if I have to. I could just put the headphone on and do a quick 15-minute session if I have to.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. I could.
Yeah, you're just getting them unstuck. They're stuck. And they're like, gosh, I've been at this for 10 years. And you're like, just get on the phone with me for 15 minutes and I'll straighten this out.
Yeah, we'll get to the we'll get to the nitty gritty real quick. We'll get there real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the fact that it is your presence itself that is making the miracle happen. It's not the head
Hmm.
trickery. It's everybody thinks,
Right.
well, if I just had more education, I could be effective. It's like, well, how's that
Hmm.
working out for everybody else on the planet? You know?
Exactly. And it's funny because I was attacked by this. I was attacked by this. And to me, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I had this person who was a friend of mine who I don't really, just healthy boundaries now. I don't need to really be around this girl anymore. But she was so mad at me. She's like, "You're so disrespectful. I paid $2,000 for for my hypnotherapy. And, you just think you can go there and reprogram people without who gave you the authority? You don't even have any certification in that." And I said, well, first of all, I did take some energy classes. And secondly, I said, my authority comes from the highest of the high. So I don't think there's anybody that could give a better degree than that.
There you go. Yep. My
Who are
authority.
we to question the Most High?
My authority is
God
my
himself told me. Yeah, I
exactly.
said, God himself told me I had two jobs. One was to show up and two was to get out of his way. I said, God, that's all I got to do. He goes, yup. I said, sign me up. I'll do that.
Yeah. I had people tell
I said,
me,
this is going to be fun, huh?
yeah. I had people tell me when I was going to build my first health empire, they're like, "Who do you think you are? You're not a doctor." And I'm like, I know, but here's the thing. I'm like, I figured out some stuff and I'm gonna share it. And that thing did millions of dollars. I'm like, I solved a problem. I solved problems.
Yes,
You don't need a degree.
yes.
People that when they have a problem, they don't say, "Well, let me just make sure that they have a degree before I get this problem solved." You know?
Let's see how many how many credentials they have.
Hey, I'll tell
Okay.
you what, if they're doing that, the problem isn't the right problem. You got to solve a problem that they need solved now. Like then they're like, "Hey, can you solve the problem?" And you're like, "Yes." They're like, "Okay, let's solve the
Yes,
problem." That's all it is to it.
that's right. I trust and know. Like I have never. I used to when I first started doing this. I used to kind of doubt myself, but then I realized I'm not doubting myself. I'm doubting God. And I'm like, you know what, God, I trust you. You told me all I had to do was show up and get out of the way. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And I told you that I was invited to speak as a guest speaker at this women's thing, and it was like a 3 hour, 4 hour thing. And the night before I was like, gosh, what am I going to say, God? I started to work on a piece of paper, the things I was going to talk about. And then I stopped and I was like, wait a second, God, this isn't the way you wanted it. You said all I had to do was show up and get out of the way. Then what am I writing down a outline for? Because
Exactly.
that's getting in the way. And
Hmm.
so all I did is I had like two verses in a pyramid of something I wanted to talk about, which would have literally taken me a minute and a half, right? To just cover those three things.
Yeah.
And that's all I took. And God filled up the whole 4 hours, and people were on the edge of their seats. They said they'd never had such good content in their life. And I'm like, wow, God, you really did show up. Because I know I didn't plan for this. I didn't even prepare.
That's right. See that you got this. Like the bottom line is you got this. Now you just play and play and play and have more fun and more fun. And that's the whole point. That's when you make the most prosperities when you're having a ton of fun.
It is.
It's
It is fun.
I gotta get that's the only thing, I was like begrudgingly going into this whole business trip. I loved the YouTube one. I really loved that. And then we got into this and I'm like, then I'm like, oh. Then this whole Instagram thing, I'm like, I'm never gonna use Instagram in my life. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it for others. I'll get it up for others when I'm ready. But like right now, I'm like, I'm not even gonna do this. This is not joy zero. It's on a zero scale for joy. No.
Joy zero. I know they say that the Instagram is like going to be surpassing Facebook, and it's like the best platform for business. I know they say that, but it just seems like a whole lot of dilly-dallying and every day paying attention to your posts and all this stuff. And I'm like, every day I just want to be in the zone. I don't want to be doing all that.
Yeah,
Fiverr,
there's a million ways to
Fiverr.
receive prosperity. Exactly. I know. I go to Fiverr all the time and have people just do stuff for me.
Yes.
Yep.
Fiverr, here I come.
Yeah. There you go. You could You could even do you could even offer to solve problems on Fiverr to build your clientele. Like you do a $5 lead in, and people will, like, you give them just a little snippet, like a little quick little instant thing, and then you'd be like, well, I can do a premium service, but it's obviously gonna be more than $5. you know
Right. Yeah.
yep. It's
I
what
I do need to figure out ways that I can those are simple things for me. It's just like I don't know, like, okay, so I guess I wouldn't know, like, what is the snippet and then what would be the juice, like what would be the meat, what would be the milk.
well, just look at see what's already going on, what people are looking for. Because
Uh-huh.
remember, your unique delivery is your difference. You can
Yeah.
it's like this. How many people want to buy hamburgers and pizza? I'm looking to see who's buying what. I see, oh gosh, lots of people are buying hamburgers, and I'm thinking, well, what makes me so special? Oh, well, here's what it is. It's because I'm the one delivering the hamburger. Duh.
Mhm.
You know,
Duh. Yes.
because they want to do
That's
business
funny
with
too.
me. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's your
because it's
self-talk.
funny because when I cook, like, sometimes I'll make something, right? Somebody said, "Well, I did it just the way you said to do it." I said, "Well, did you add love in there?" They're like, "No, I forgot. You didn't tell me that." I said, "Yeah, you were supposed to add some love and excitement in there, as it makes a big difference. It tastes a lot different." They're
Yes.
like, "You're so stupid."
Yeah. Of course, the five senses sell you're stupid. Because they don't understand anything.
Exactly. I'm like, yes, but they're like, yes, why didn't I think of that? I'm like, yes, you should have definitely thought of that. Love should have been the first ingredient.
Thank you. Yeah, see, it's so simple. Like, you really have to just show up, like you just did to that event. All you gotta do is show up,
Yeah.
just put something up, and then use your self-talk. Say, everybody wants to do business with me. I'm flooded with customers. Everybody wants to do business.
Yeah.
I'm flooded with customers. And you just keep doing that for like 13 days, just under your breath. And before you know it, everywhere you go, people are like, I want to hire you. I want to hire you. Can you help me? Can you help me? And you're like, geez, I can't even manage all these. Now I got to go hire a team, you know?
Yes. Yeah. You're right. And I was thinking too, like, moving forward, what I'm gonna do, because my prices do need to increase on the energy side of things. I was thinking moving forward, I need to charge, like, I really felt like I should charge 150 or 200 for 30 minutes. That's what I was really thinking.
Well, you can definitely get it. And I would always base it on different tiers too, in terms of, like the scaling up the tier packages. Like,
Uh-huh.
because 150 to 200 is not an ideal lead-in product if you're looking to generate tons of traffic. Like
Right, right.
like the whole fiber thing is really kind of cool, because it's like, oh, for $5 I can try anything. And if they try it
Right.
and they're like, wow, I really like Nicole, well, hey, listen, I gave you 5 minutes for $5. How about we do the real version, and we do a full half an hour where I can make a
Mhm.
complete shift, and it's 150, $200. I mean, depending on if you do
Right.
one session or five.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, because I really think that packages is really what I want to push, because it's like, you've had a lifetime to get yourself in the muck you're in. What makes you think that one session is going to turn you completely around? Like, you may have some really good success with the one session, but guess what's going to happen after, a week or two?
Oh
Your
yeah.
default setting's going to go back and your ego mind's going to kick in, and then you're going to be sitting there without the tools that you need, or without the knowledge and the information that you need to push through that next level and
Exactly.
plateau.
Exactly. Within one session, I will turn you around. I'll get you in the right direction.
Hmm.
But in order to keep you in the right direction, you got to remember that it's all new to you. You're going to be scared. You're going to freak out. And your old instinct is going to be to go back to the old way of doing things. So you better just stay with me for a short period of time, at least, until I get you stabilized
Yeah.
in the new place. You know?
Yeah. And you do that. I mean, I hear you say that. Like, guys, your ego's gonna buck. Your ego's gonna fight you. Your ego's not gonna go down easy. You got to be ready for that. And you're gonna create all kinds of ruckus in your life if you're not ready for that.
By day 3, you're gonna go AWOL if you're not like.
You're gonna go AWOL by day 3, so you really want me to be close by.
Yeah, I'll get you turned around in 15 minutes. I'll get you shifted. But the problem is
Yes.
that once your mind finds out what happened.
Once your mind catches up, we may need to have another cut, and we may need to have another talk.
Yeah. People get all weird, they get all angry, they get all emotional, they get all upset, they freak out because it's like
They freak.
you gave them a slip.
That girl was freaking on me. She called me, Nicole, you told me this. You told me this wasn't going to happen. And I said, and Carol, for a few days it didn't happen. And then your ego said this is supposed to happen. So you created it again.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I did. And I'm like, well, if you didn't, why are you going through it?
I'll tell you,
I didn't create it. I didn't do that.
It's the hardest work in the world getting through the terror barrier at each level, because that thing is designed to keep you stuck, like, period. And it knows every weakness you have.
Yes.
Yes, I see it, and my heart goes out because I've had so many people do the workshops now, and some people do extraordinarily well. The people that do, because they're committed, and some people I've had, some backlash because they're like, well, they freak out, and it's like, well, listen, you have to understand. I told you you're going to freak out. I told you what's going to happen. You're definitely not going to like this. You're definitely.
We're definitely gonna ruffle your feathers, okay?
Yeah.
Get ready. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. You're like, are you sitting down? No, we'll sit down because you need to sit down to hear this one.
Yeah. Remember that part when I said I'm not here to be your friend, I'm here to be effective? Well, that's about to happen,
Let me remind you, I am not your friend today.
Yep.
Let me just remind you.
Yeah. Your friends,
just in case you forgot.
Your friends are going to coddle you and tell you it's okay. I'm not. I'm not here to do that for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not here to say it's okay and be, and be an enabler today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
I'm going to tell you to go do exactly what I trained you to do, every single step of it, because the reason why you don't want to do it is because you're stuck. So go get yourself unstuck. And then they do it, and then we have a totally different conversation about 1 hour later. And I'm like, that happens to me too, just so you know. Just so you know, I will get in a vibrational rut, but I know how to get out of it. And all I have to do is go back to that pain pleasure process and remember how painful it's going to be if I don't do it till I get to a threshold. And then I get super mad about it, and I get up and I go do the tools. And 1 hour later, I'm like gold again. It's amazing.
Yes. It is. And that's the thing that I like when I was listening to one of your transmissions and you were like, guys, I'm telling you this because I'm telling this to myself right now.
Pretty much.
Myself needs to hear the same thing.
Yep. I'm convincing me in front of you. So
yes, I'm just convincing myself right now, and you get to witness this.
Yeah. That's what it works. That's how it really works out, though.
It really does.
If you guys only knew, I'm only doing the workshops just so I can have people watch me change.
I get to change, and you get to be a part of that. And if you want to change, you can do it too.
Okay. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to do my thing now, and you're welcome to follow along.
You're welcome to transform with me or to sit still and not. Either way, I'm going to be up here transforming. So,
it has been too long. Since the last one, I have to do this. Like, I need to do these like every 2.5 months because I have to keep on my game. And see, it's an immersion training. See, the immersion experience, when you're doing your thing too, Nicole, you have to offer an immersion experience, because what you do is you get people unstuck and you're effective at doing it, and your delivery is unique and it works, but you have to core people together every 8 to 12 weeks, or you have to immersion, because that's the only way to create permanent change, because they're going to go back around the same friends they used to have, the same old this, the same old that, and they're going to forget to
Yep.
everything, and they're going to go right back to being who they were.
Yeah. And when you say 15,000 programs a day, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, Matthew. I'm thinking it's 15,000 programs a minute.
It might
We're
be.
bombarded.
It might be. It's just constant. It's harp and it's everything. It's just, the commercials,
Yeah.
the TV, the language is corrupt. So everybody that talks to you is talking in negative programming. It's all negatives. And,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's amazing that anything gets accomplished.
It really is. It's when they say the faith the size of a mustard seed, they weren't joking.
It's because that's all there is. There's a mustard seed laying around.
Mustard seed in a mound and heaping pile of doo-doo.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had my little ounce of faith today, and it worked.
It worked. Just 1 ounce of faith in a whole sea of confusion, but that 1 ounce of faith is all it took.
That is the truth, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, when you follow your excitement and your joy, that's that little ounce of faith, and every time you turn it on, you're using that little bit of faith. And how often do we actually do it, though? Like, to be real with you, it's not like I do it moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, but I did in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what happened?
Yeah.
From 0 to 7 figures in like a couple years, like with no experience and nothing. It all came to me.
Yeah.
Because I did it, because my blessing was my curse and my curse was my blessing, because I was dying with Lyme disease. I hated my life so much that I was willing to sacrifice my life to live for truth. And that's like gospel 101. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
That
that was
yeah.
great.
You
And
know,
when you say you were sitting in your house and the bugs were crawling on the walls, and you were
oh,
like,
Nicole, they were
"My
crawling.
clothes me freely and easily." Like,
They were crawling on us in the bed. Like they were crawling on our legs while we slept. I don't even want to tell you
oh,
how disgusting it was. Like,
oh,
I
God.
think about going through that and dying at the same time, not being able to physically do anything, and then having the whole world turn their basically, you don't have anybody because you're in the middle of nowhere. Everybody's busy. They don't care. They're too busy.
Right.
They don't have nothing left to give because they're too busy being slaves to the cog in the matrix, and they're just doing the same thing.
Exactly. Yes. Everybody is just running around like little minions.
They're programmed. They're just
Yep.
tech slaves. That's all they've been programmed to be. Just little batteries. Just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, wait, here's your weekend. Go have some beer. Watch the football game. Oh, look at that. Oh, another work day comes along. Guess what? Back in your box. Go do it again. Go do it again. Go do it again. Go do it.
Your boss. And it's so true. It's so true. Like, people are just like so running around frantic, and it's just like, wow, this is crazy that nobody sat there and said, wait a second, I'm just gonna unplug from this is just nuts.
Best
It's just
experience.
nuts.
Best experience I ever had was the worst experience I ever had. Because it unplugged me from all of it to the point where I didn't care at all what anybody thought, to the point where when my mentor said, follow your highest excitement in every moment, regardless of the fallout, I said, no problem, because I don't even care because it already fell out. The fallout, I was like, what fallout? I'm like, it already happened. I'm good.
There's nothing else. We're already there, so we're good.
Yeah. And I
What have I
carried it.
got to lose at this point?
I carried it forward, and I did it tonight again because I'm remembering. You have to always remember to apply this. Always. 10 minutes
Always.
before this call, I'm doing karaoke, like, and I'm just like, this is what I want to do right now. And then I get on, and then guess what? You showed up. Like, this is the conversation I wanted to have. So
It was great.
yeah, my excitement led me into the conversation I wanted to have to reinforce what should be here tonight. Is this
That's right.
Yes.
Because this is really where it's all at, is just being in that space and place of joy, because that's where God is, being present to the present.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
just
you.
enjoying and having fun with childlike spirit. God says, enter into my kingdom with the childlike spirit. I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay there as much as I can because God says that's where he's at. I'm going to
That's
be
it.
there.
That's it.
I'll be the only adult in this playground, but it's
That
all good.
hey, that's why that's why you're gonna. It will work for you. That's what works. That's how you do it. Is and then somebody comes along and is like, hey, you want to buy my business? It's going to be 80 hours a week, blah, 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 blah. You'd be like, are you out of your mind? Like, I'll tell you
I'm
what I'll
like,
do. I'll tell you what I'll do. When you're about ready to kill, like, you just can hand that thing over to me and I'll flip it for you. How's that sound? Like,
I'll flip it for you because I don't think anybody's going to want to duplicate that.
no, you did a heroic effort. Pat yourself on the back. We're happy for you. I love that you did it. But for me, it looks like going to dig ditches all day, to be honest with you.
It looks like we're going to go dig some ditches, and we just don't want to do that. We
Yeah.
do not want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't need
It
to prove.
reminds me, when I was younger, me and this one of my best friends, like her dad was a beet farmer, my dad was a potato farmer. We're in North Dakota, right? And he had us out in the fields, like we're trying to be, earn our keep. We're trying to make some money out in these fields. So we were hoeing beets. We didn't hoe beets. We had our bathing suits on underneath our field clothes. We would go out there and we would sunbathe and talk to boys on the mobile phone and just screw around. We were out in this little tiny field, half an acre, for maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he said he hired a crew of Mexicans and they finished it in a morning. We were out there for 2 weeks. He goes, why is it, guys, that I got this crew of Mexicans and they finished the field in half a day, and you guys have been out there for 2 weeks? And his name was Dick. I said, Dick, it's so obvious. We did all the tough stuff. All there was just a little bit left.
Oh, right.
He goes, you guys are stupid.
Oh, that's a good spin on it. I like that. That was a good
I
answer.
said, well, yeah, we did all the heavy lifting. We got all the pigweed and kosher weed. They just had to come in and clean up a little bit.
Because the Mexican sauce with our bathing suits on, and you should have seen the pace they were working at.
They wanted to go as fast as they could to get to the other side of the field.
Yep.
Where we were.
They got through that thing in half a day.
I never seen beets hoe so fast.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was
That's
funny, but
yeah.
he knew we were joking around, and I was just saying something, and it worked. It was funny,
Yeah.
I mean, he knew we were screwing off out there, and we knew we were too, but we didn't want to say it. We just had to, had to come up with some good reason.
I'm gonna watch Office Space tonight because I'm gonna remember that is exactly that they put it in plain sight, like they put the truth right there.
Yes.
He just basically says, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go do my joy," and he just does it, and the whole world is kissing his feet. Like that's how it works.
Yes. And it is fun. It's fun like that.
Yes. Because look, what you're afraid of is what you create. So drop the fear and just start living like that God is the only source in the universe and that it's impossible for God not to take care of you because you're God's beloved. It's ridiculous to think that you're not going to be prospered.
That was one of the most profound things that you ever said, that I really when you said that, it really I felt the shift in me because I told you, my boss would be lying to me about stuff, and clients would come up to me and say, I've been trying to get into you for a month. Why are you so busy? And I'm like, well, geez, I've barely been working. I don't know what you're talking about. So he's holding back clients, trying to push them off to other people when they're requesting me. And this stuff was just pissing me off, And then I remembered you say, it's not your boss that gives it to you. It's not this, it's not that, it's God. So I was like, you know what, God, I'm not going to get mad about this because I'm creating this, and I'm just going to trust you. That even in spite of all this, you are my source. It's not him. And my boss used to joke and say, I was like, oh, I'm going to church today. He goes, why? I'm here.
Ah, yeah.
My boss used to say that. Why do you need to go to church today? I'm right here.
Well, that's sort of obvious, right? Think about it like this. That's the truth in plain sight. You know what I mean? It's
It is.
so profound, but it's, you know,
But see, it pissed me off. But I was like, but if I'm hearing it right,
yeah.
God is right there. I was thinking he was, and he was trying to take credit for God and being very egoistic. But I should have just listened to that and said, you know what, God is right here.
Yeah, think about this. Like when
God is wherever I am.
yes, the report of your five senses. Like I see this guy, I hear his words. That's all BS. Like he's not even there. Like this is all a pipe dream. He's not there. You're not seeing the world as it really exists. You're not hearing anything other than God speak because that's all there is. The only power is one power. So that is right. God's right here.
Yeah.
So you show up joyful in his presence, praising him consistently, and that's what God loves more than anything. And so then
Yes.
the full blessing becomes manifest, which means visible to you because it's already here. You can't go get it. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to get. It's already here.
Yeah, that's a doozy one to really grasp. It is.
Well, everybody used to say, well, you live in the middle of nowhere. How did you do all this? And I said, well, you could live in the Sahara Desert and do all this if you came to the recognition that God is the only thing that exists.
Exactly.
It'll fall out of the sky. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all you do is just keep doing it in that certain way. And I've been doing it more and more all the time, and I'm just getting back to my roots now. If it feels like it's upstream, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just like, nope.
I'm getting out of this ship.
Yep. I'm like, you know what?
And I like that one, the commerce, the war commerce, the ship. Ooh, that was good.
Oh yeah, it's true though. That's the truth.
That was so good. Yes, I know it was so good. Like I loved that. And then you were, what was the other thing you said that I was just really like, yes, oh my gosh, like I was like really chewing on that. It was good. One was the commerce and like the war and the ships and all that. And then it was something else that it was recent. Oh, when you said that God meets you where you are, and then he raises the bar, and then you go and you raise that right there, that is something to really like. That one right there, for some reason, I feel like I need to just sit with that for a minute.
Yeah. Well, what it is that you are required to move in faith. Okay. You got to move your ship. You have to move your ship in faith. So here's what happens. If you've already done something 1,000 times, you're not exerting much faith anymore. Okay. So raising the bar is simple example. I go to the gym, I can bench 275 pretty easy, right? Well, if I've done it 375 times in the past 4 years, well, where's the faith anymore? I'm not using any faith. I'm just kind of like repeating motions.
Right.
So step up and say, okay, I need to activate some more faith if I want to get some fruit out of this. What can I do to step into some bigger faith? Like what's going to challenge me? The best results I ever had was when I stretched for a goal that was impossible. I said, I'm going to go do the SEAL Fit Kokoro Warrior Camp. And I was serious. And I started training for it. And it's impossible basically. But I trained for it and I got so much further ahead than I ever dreamed I would in my life just by doing that.
Wow.
Because it was impossible. God's in the business of impossible. He wants you. We call him he because it's our five senses. But God is, another name too. But you know what I'm saying. Step up. Step up your faith. Step into your promises. As a surprise, as Satole says, step into your promises.
Yeah.
If God says he's going to do it and it's already done because it's already there, well, then how do you get it? Through faith. That's the only way to get it. All right, so look at what you're doing and say, am I actually using my faith? I mean, realistically, am I using my faith or am I just going through the motions pretending I'm using my faith? Be real with yourself.
Right.
Faith
Yeah.
faith is risky business, I'm telling you. Like, when I took over that store with all the debt, knowing it was losing $4,000 a month, and I took it over based on my excitement alone, that was
Yeah.
stupid faith, right?
Right.
But it worked because faith doesn't fail.
That's true.
See, but it was my excitement. I didn't take it over because I wanted
Yeah.
40 hours a day. I took it over because it was my excitement.
Right.
And
it felt exciting. Yeah,
yes,
that's the thing, it's gotta feel exciting.
every moment of it was like my passion, my joy. And that's what my mentor said. He said, look, if it's your joy, he's like, then what are you afraid of? And I said, well, doesn't make any sense. And he goes, well, it's not supposed to because you haven't figured it out yet. Like, okay. I'm like,
Right.
cool. I'm like, I got nothing to lose. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You should play like you got nothing to lose, and you should play with cojones the size of like basketballs. Like, you need to jump into the faith game and say,
Mm-hmm.
I believe in my promises. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. God promised me this, I believe it. And every single time that you hear a voice saying, see, look at that. Are you sure about the promise? Yes. God, I trust you.
Say, what voice are you? Are you somebody that exists outside of God? No. Okay, then I'm not.
Right. Exactly. Are you? No. Okay. I don't need to. This conversation is over.
Yeah, you're either feeding my faith or you're diminishing my faith, and that's the only two categories that exist. And if you're not in the one feeding it, you're out.
If you're not in the one feeding it, bye bye.
That's how I play. I do.
Yeah.
If you don't feed my faith, and if you try to rob my faith, that's it. That's our last conversation.
You're like, we're done.
That's
We're
it.
done talking here.
My Randy Gage
Yeah.
told me that. He said, "Listen, if I'm involved with someone and the conversation gets negative, and I feel they've just robbed me," he goes, "I walk right out in the middle of the conversation, never turn back."
You know what? I've noticed I've started doing that too. I've been doing that just because, I like my ex, he started yelling about something one day, and I just like picked up my stuff and walked out.
Good for you. Yes.
Just because I was like, this is dumb. I'm not even going to entertain this. And he's going to be upset if I tell him that. So it's no point. This is just stupid anyway. Like, I'm done. And I just walked away.
Yeah. And he probably like changed his tune and came back begging. You know what I mean? Because it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
He didn't say that. Yeah. The next conversation we had, he was actually really nice. And then I was like, okay, I'll listen to this, but I'm
Yep.
not going to listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You set the precedence of what you're going to allow in your life, and
Exactly. I was talking to my boyfriend the other day when, he was like breaking up with me, and he said something about that I could go or whatever. And then we were talking about some other things, and he picked up his phone and he started looking at his phone, and I was like, oh, did you want me to leave? And he goes, mm-hmm. And I just grabbed my keys and I walked out the door and didn't say nothing and left.
good for you.
Like, don't argue with me. I'm gone. Like, I'm not going to sit here if somebody doesn't want me here. I don't want to be here.
Yep. It can only end up good
I
if
do.
you walk out on good terms with
Yeah.
yourself. It's between you and you.
Yeah. And it
So,
felt good.
yeah.
It just felt good to walk away. It just felt good to just, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm
And,
done.
and you always got to gauge the relationship. Is it a Delilah spell? Like, is it something coming before God? And you know that because when you lose your peace and you feel like, well, geez, if this,
Yes.
I don't have peace anymore. Well, you're already screwed
Yeah.
because it's not about them.
Right. And I feel like that at one point it was there, and I feel like it's shifting, and I think that it was necessary for the shift. And then I also feel like in this shift, because this is me, I never felt the need to like run away from it and go somewhere else thinking that, oh, he's the one, or if I could just get a better person. No, I'm looking at it like I just need to work through these things and create what it is that I like. And it could be him,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not be him, or it may be him, and either way, it's going to be okay.
Yep.
And this Delilah spell that I was in, or whatever it was, it's going to come full circle to a healthy space and place, regardless of who that recipient is on the other side. It could be him or someone else, and it's not really going to matter, because it's going to be the principle of that and the
Exactly.
energy of that relationship.
That's right. And that's said perfectly. I like those words because that's exactly how it plays out.
Yeah.
Be willing to let go of everything.
Yeah.
Whoever loses their life for Christ shall gain it. Whoever holds on to it shall certainly lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And what is Christ?
Yeah.
I mean, what does it mean? Explain that.
To me, the Christ is the Christos. It's that life force energy through you. It's that connection that you have to your higher self. It's that, it's that, to me, it's that. That's what the Christ is.
Mm-hmm. So
The Christos, kind of.
how do you lose your life to gain it?
I think you just let go of anything that would be considered an idol, anything that you would put over and above that energy that you have, that relationship that you have with God. Anything that, like you said, if it make you go crazy and pull your hair out, then that's not it.
Yeah, and you let go of everything except for the present moment.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm talking about every single cotton picking thing, like all of it. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
if my business is gone tomorrow, good. That means that something better is coming. Chances are it'll show up even bigger than before because that's just the way it rolls when I don't care. Because I'm not,
Right.
see, what you're saying is it's not my business, it's God's business. I'm just witnessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're free to prosper because now you got you out of the way.
Right.
See, you can't contain
And
it.
that is, yeah.
The blessing is
And I
poured
think,
out. You can't contain the blessing. Malachi 3:10. See?
yeah.
You can't contain
I
it.
remember when you said that, and that had me just like sitting on that for a minute, like, whoa.
Yeah. You personally, as Nicole Brown, cannot contain the full blessing because Nicole Brown is fiction.
Right.
But if you're fully in the moment, if you're fully in the moment, atoned, knowing that God is thinking of you moment by moment, therefore you exist. So God is doing the thinking. God is doing the plan.
Mm-hmm.
God is creating every single thing in every moment. If you just exist in that space, then you can witness the full blessing and you can hold it by not holding it. You can, that's how you walk into having millions of dollars and everything else that you've never had because guess what? It's nothing to the creator, but you
Right.
needed to get you out of the equation because you didn't belong in the equation because you're not here.
Yeah. That's wild, isn't it?
That's how it works. That's the game. See, my
Yeah.
blessing, Nicole, was the fact that when I had Lyme disease, I was so ready to die that I died before I died. And that's why it was so wildly successful so fast. And
Wow.
and then when my ego started thinking I did it and I was so successful, look at me, pat myself on the back, all of it started slowing down. I got lawsuits and all these
Uh,
things came because guess what? I put the fiction back in the equation.
uh,
See? You can't contain the whole blessing. That's why you can't be there.
you just can't be there. Just get
You're
out of the
not
way.
invited to
I
this
think
party, okay?
you're not invited to this party, even though you may think it's your own party. It's really
Yeah.
not.
I
It's
mean,
really not your own party.
I know you're going to be there as God, but not Nicole, okay? Nicole is going to be witnessing it
Right.
from a non-space position where you're just surrendered to the allness, observing how powerful it is. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not your works, but Christ in me or God in me that does the work. That's what Jesus said. Not my own strength, but God in me.
Yes.
You have no strength.
Yeah.
You don't exist. That's what I'm telling you.
And that one to me is like, as much as, it's like, okay, show up, get out of the way. It's like, okay, getting out of the way sounds really easy, but it's so easy to get back in the way.
Well, that's your impulse
Right?
to take thought for your own life. Like you go and you look in the mirror. Whoa, there I am. I'm back. Like I've got to go do all,
Right.
I got to go do all of me again. Like everything I've created, I got to hold it all myself. I'm the one,
Right.
It's like, wait a
Sounds
minute. The more you strengthen your self-importance, the more you cut off the flow of prosperity.
yes.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Egos abound. I know everywhere you look, you see all these important people with all these great degrees, and a lot of them are laying on the streets in LA right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how does that make sense? How do you have some of the most talented people in the world laying on the streets, addicted to all kinds of substances or something bad? You know why? Because they took the burden upon themselves. And that's the prodigal son. It's not your fight. The battle is with God because you're not here.
Right.
And you step into that, and all of a sudden things start to get right. And you're like, whoa, like that problem just got solved like instantly. Like I didn't do it. No, because you're not here. The fact that you thought,
and it's like,
yeah, go ahead.
I get what you're saying. It's like I get what you're saying, but it's also I'm trying to get what you're saying. Does that make sense? Like I agree with you and I believe you, but whoa, how do I do that?
I'll tell you how to do it. What you're going to do is you're going to use an external means to self-entrainment technique. You're going to just do the same thing you learn when you watch Office Space, because I told you that's the icon that will program all of that. See, everything in the movie has a morphogenic field. So when he plays that role, if you act the role and you do the self-entrainment and dial it in, then you will take on all the attributes of that character and you will demonstrate the matrix of that character.
Okay, like how you said you took on Phineas Quimby by reading his stuff, you took on
his consciousness,
his words.
Myself. Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. I did. That's what I needed. I did that when I needed to overcome Lyme, and I stepped into it. And you see, Phineas Parker's Quimby, first of all, never existed. Second of all, never died, never was born. Third of all, that consciousness is always and forever in the present moment, because now is the only time that ever existed. And it's only a frequency away. So once I dial the frequency in, I'm already in possession of it.
Right. Like the Matrix when they downloaded, okay, have you ever flown this helicopter before? No. Here. Okay, now I'm flying it. It's just like that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, that's why the Bible is a book of stories, because it gives you the opportunity to dial in that consciousness of Jesus. See, Jesus clothed himself in material form so that people could see him. They couldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not material.
Wow.
See, that's the division. That's the whole transmission I gave him 3 weeks ago. But see, the thing is, you really want to know how to do it. And I'm saying, this is how you do it. So remember when I lost my YouTube channel. I didn't have anything going on. And I thought, well, okay, that's an opportunity. What do I do now? I dialed in the Saint, the character from the Saint, and I started playing him for a couple of days. And I'm like, I'll do Raymond Reddington. So then I started dialing in Raymond Reddington, and all of a sudden I'm like, I know exactly what to do. And then I just knew. Boom, it just came right to me,
Wow.
That's the power of fiction. See, fiction has power if you know how to use fiction. But the idea that you think, see, the morphogenic field of Nicole Brown already contains everything in that morphogenic field. So if you're trying to keep something outside of that field, well, then Nicole Brown has to go away. See that
Mm-hmm.
as you know her, you have to
Mm-hmm.
you have to upgrade that whole thing. That whole thing needs to be upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So the quickest way to do it is you think mathematically. I can tell you how it works. So God is the zero, the infinite. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you subtracted yourself out of God, which is proven by the language because it's all negative language. And you're here as this fictional Nicole Brown persona, apparently existing outside of all that is because there's wants in you that proclaim that you don't have something. And so that want in you
Mm-hmm.
is proof that you believe that you're subtracted from the infinite. So what we do is we multiply you back into the infinite, and anything multiplied by zero becomes zero. And so we put you right back into the infinite, and then all of a sudden you have everything, and you're back home. You're the prodigal son returning back home again. How do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Drop all of your ideas of I had a birth date, I have a death date, I'm physical, I have a history, I have all of these things going on. No, what you have is you have now, space, only, eternal in God, good. Praise God. I'm spiritual. I never had a human life. I was never physical. I never left heaven. Only the good is true. Right now is the only moment that ever existed. And you keep right there, period. And you're back in the zero.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get
Yeah.
out of it unless fear comes. The only thing that can take you out of it is fear. And that ego is going to be like, hey, you got stuff to do. Stop dreaming. Hey, hey.
It's true though.
But
Because sometimes when I get in that space of
yes,
like nothing matters and everything is all good, and I
yes.
get in that space, the ego comes in and says, are you okay?
Yeah. But listen, but
Is
listen,
everything all
but,
right with you?
but Nicole, remember in the movie Office Space, remember when he was tempted that he had responsibilities? What did he do? Remember that movie?
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie again. He ignored him,
So he was at the restaurant
didn't
with
he?
the girl that he liked. He wanted to go hit on the girl, so he asked her out to lunch. And then she's
Uh-huh.
like, "So where do you work?" And like, he's like, "Yeah, over here." He goes, "But I don't think I'm gonna go." And she's like, "You're not gonna go?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't want to." You know. You see, that's your persona. He did it. He did it. He just did it. And then all of a sudden he's not there. And then they're calling, "Hey, you're not here. What's going on?" They're freaking out. And then finally he walks in all nonchalant, sits down. They're like, "You've been missing a lot of work lately." He goes, "I wouldn't say I've been missing it." and, and then they offer him a promotion. They're like, "We're going to promote him."
I wouldn't say I've been missing it.
That's the
Oh gosh,
story.
yeah, that part was funny.
I'm telling you, that is the story of the prodigal son. That is the story. Because think about it. He comes back to the father, and the father gives him all this stuff. And the brother comes in, just like in the movie Office Space, the other employees. The brother comes in and goes, "What the heck? He was out with all these prostitutes doing all this crazy stuff, and he comes and you give him all this good stuff."
You want to know what's so funny? Okay, like my son worked with the boy I was telling you about, the basketball player.
Yeah.
They worked together in the summertime, and Xavier is his name. Xavier was just clowning around the whole entire time. He wasn't taking nothing serious. He was getting in trouble at the job, and he was getting tips, and everybody loved him. And my son was trying to do all the right things, and and it's like he was just like sitting there like, "Mom, why?" Why did they do this, or why is he getting tips and he's not even working? Like, he's just screwing around. He's just like, like he he went up to the washing machine, right? And he was like he was like humping the washing machine. He got mad at his boss. He was like, went over and like he was humping the washing machine. He put the towels in and he was doing that, and they got him on camera, and they showed him to the office. And they're like, could you explain what is this disrespectful, lewd behavior for? And he goes, I don't recall what that was.
Clearly, I'm humping the washing machine. Yeah.
Oh my god! And my son, when they went into the office, my son like video recorded it on his phone, like, and recorded his face, and he just had this stupid look on his face. He didn't know how to get out of this one, but he was determined, like he wasn't gonna admit to it, you know?
Right.
Even though your lying eyes are looking right at it. Yeah, that wasn't me, sir.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, but that definitely wasn't what it looked like.
I think there's something wrong with your camera.
Yeah.
It was the angle.
I always thought about that. They should have a scene in the movie where the guy walks in and his wife's in bed with another guy, and then they like get up and like, it's not what it looks like. It's like, oh no, it's not what it looks like.
It's not what it looks like. Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, carry on then.
It's not what it looks like. Okay, then what is it?
Exactly. Well, what exactly is it then? Well, you see, give me a minute to think about this one.
I slipped. I fell. I don't know. This is all.
Yeah, I slipped. I fell. I passed out. I woke up, and here you are, right in front of my face. Like, I don't know how I got here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, anyway,
funny.
Yeah. Well, this is. I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna self-entrain for the next. I think probably for the next week or two. I'm gonna self-entrain space. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna dial in that frequency, and I'm gonna hold it. And just look at it.
That sounds good. I'm gonna do that too.
It'll be exciting. If nothing else, it's gonna be like, think about it like this. Your life is kind of like a story, and at the end of it, don't you want to have some cool stuff to tell everyone that you did?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do.
And that's what it really comes down to. See, what I learned when I was like, the Lyme taught me what it's like at end of life when you're looking at your last days. And what matters, what really matters is like, man, you have this gift of being able to do this life. What are you doing? Like, are you living it like full of joy, or are you just like slaving away? Because if you're slaving away, you're already dead. I'm telling you that right now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I moved to Miami and I got this job at a startup company, right? And honestly, I don't even know what I was doing. Like, I would go to work, I would start my day in a little I was in Miami, so I'd start my day in a little French pastry shop, and I would get my little cappuccino and a pastry, whatever, and sit and talk to people in there. After I dropped my kids off at school, that was what I would do first. Then I would take a run on the beach. Then I would go into my office, which was overlooking the ocean. And I don't know, I just did a few things here and there. I'd look up, oh, it's time to go have lunch. I'd go run down the boardwalk, go get some a mezza platter, like a cold platter Turkish salads. Loved it. Play a little beach volleyball, go back into my office, shower the sand off my body, because I would work in shorts and flip-flops and tank tops. And after a couple hours of work, I'd go pick my kids up from school, and that was the end of the day. Like, no wonder
you look like you're 25. I mean, like this.
Right, I was like, I could never work a real job again. Like, this is great.
Like, see, no wonder you
my bills are paid. Like, what?
See, you got this. See, you got this. This is really, you're doing it. Like, you're doing it. Like, see, you definitely should be teaching people this if it's your excitement, because you're doing it. Like, you have the experience under your belt already. Like, you got this.
And I've done that. And then, you know what else? Okay, so I was going through like I was going through a double custody battle with I have 4 kids. Both the dads decided to come at me at the same time, and they wanted to fight me for custody because they realized I didn't care about them, but I cared about the kids. So they were trying to take what I cared about, right?
Yep.
And so they were sucking the life out of me, like monetarily. They were just trying to like destroy me. So I decided, and they, they had attorneys, and here in Virginia, it's like whoever has the better attorney wins the case.
Yeah.
And so they had great attorneys, they had more money, so they could spend more on better attorneys. And, they were getting it so that everything I had was going to them, and child support and this, that, and the other. And then I had to, it was just one of them was doing that. The other one really wasn't. But so I was just getting nailed. And it was just a bad situation. And then I decided, like, dang, I can't keep up with this. Like, I can't, the job that I had is not making the same money, because it was like commissions and stuff like that. So I got myself fired from the job. I didn't have a job. It was perfect. I started gambling with the 7-star. I would go, this is so crazy, for like a whole year, almost 2 years, I was under the radar. I looked like on paper I had no money. I was gambling for like a weekend. I'd go a weekend. I'd come back with like $13,000 to $20,000 in a weekend tape of playing baccarat. I'd come home and I'd live off that for a month or two, and then I'd go back and do it again and live off that for a month or two. And it looked like I was broke as a church mouse, but I was good.
Yeah.
Was good. I had stacks of money in my drawers. I was, able to get through a situation that otherwise most people would have been just destroyed. And I found a way to clear through it. Like, it was just wild.
That's perfect. See, that's the kind of stuff you're definitely qualified to be imparting this to, your average person who's thinking, okay, my life needs an upgrade. Where's somebody that can help me? And see, this is
exactly.
This
And
is where you meet
the
them.
crazy thing is, Matthew,
Yeah.
the crazy thing is, both my exes that were coming after them, they couldn't stand me, wanted to have me in prison and everything else for, trying to get me in jail, begging the judges to put me in jail.
Oh my gosh.
For no reason. Like, I was just like, what? This is crazy. Why am I creating this craziness? And at the time, I didn't realize I was the one creating it, but I was. And, both of these guys are like so good to me. They're my best friends. They love me. They would do anything for me. We're not together, but we get along good now. And is that not crazy?
Well,
So
trust me, I can relate. I know people. Well, I mean, I don't have that kind of drama to that degree, but I do have,
yeah.
5 kids, 3 different baby mamas.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it,
Right.
But yeah, and I get along with all of them just fine. Everything's just fine. It's just.
Yeah, but was it always just fine?
No. When I was younger, oh my gosh, it wasn't. Thank God, they weren't that mean to me where they were trying to like ruin me financially. But that was.
Oh yeah, they did.
They
They tried to ruin me financially. My first one, he was begging the judge, your honor, please, we just feel that she needs to be taught responsibility, and that she needs to learn this in a setting like jail.
We have a perfect plan for her. Just listen.
Just listen. We think that if she goes to jail for 6 months, that this will be the best thing for her. I'm thinking, dude, I have a baby. I'm pregnant, and I have a baby that I'm nursing. How am I going to be in jail for 6 months with?
We've thought long and hard about this, and we've decided
the best place for this mother is in jail.
Yeah. Well, first we thought about a noose or electric chair, but we decided that not that.
We decided no. And the guillotine, well, they don't let us use that anymore because the blade got too dull.
Well, I hope these guys have repented since then a little bit.
I mean, it was funny because God basically told me, like, okay, it was Ash Wednesday. I was in church, and they were like, write down on this piece of paper what you want to bring death to in your life. And you know what I put down on the piece of paper?
That whole situation.
I said, God, I want to bring death to the battle because I can't fight this anymore. This is too big for me. I'm done. Like I saw myself in the middle of a like the Roman the gladiators, you know, the sand pits or whatever.
Yep.
It was like I was in the middle of this desert sand. My buckler was broke. I didn't have a spear left. My sword was busted. All my armor was just ripped off. I was in shred. I was tattered and torn, and I
Yeah.
had no weapons. And I was surrounded by an army, like full armored army, chain links, everything. And I was just like, whoa, God, like this. Okay, I can't fight this anymore. That's pretty much dismal for me. I'm just done. Then I'm bringing death to the battle. And God turned it all around. Like I was pro se, which means I had no attorney.
Yep.
The judges saw over time that these guys were just really trying to, like, you know, they were just trying to get revenge because I didn't want to be with them. And that the judge was like, you know, you've basically slandered her. You've done this, you've done that. You've played games with the court, and you've what did he say? Something like, you've insulted my intelligence, like thinking that you can get away with this stuff. Like you'll be lucky if she ever allows you to see those kids. And God basically told me, he's like, I was a baby. I was like getting beat with a bat, like a baby seal. And God said, I'm going to give you the bat, but you can't use it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what? I said, God, just one swing, just one little swing. God, no, not one.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Please, let me take one swing, and then I promise I'll never swing again. He's like, not even one. Like,
one little smack upside the mouth one time.
Just let me get one good crack in, God. He's like, not allowed. Like, oh, shoot. And so that's why we all get along now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, because you did drop the battle from the karmic root. Like, you didn't react again to create another episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I let it go, and I had the bat, and I had all the power, and I didn't exercise it. You know, I just was humble about it. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's wrap it up
because I was instructed to do so.
Yeah. Well, we have laid it out tonight for 2 hours, so let's close
That's awesome.
on this. But it's been so good. This is really good for me. Like I'm glad that you showed up and we did this. This is awesome.
Me too. I had a ball. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
This was great, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, I think people are gonna like this. Like, they're gonna look at it. They're gonna be like, "Well, let's see what the training is." They're gonna be like, 5 hours later, they're gonna be like, "How come we did that?"
What?
He said 5 minutes. You start the videos. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And maybe next
love
week.
it.
We'll do it next week. Yeah. All right.
Perfect.
Well, have a good
Sounds
night,
great.
Nicole, and I'll look forward to talking to you again.
Likewise, you too, Matthew. It's been fun.
Okay. Have a good rest of your night.
Okay.
Mhm.
You too. Good night.